I started at 186. So yeah, 186 kilos, and I'm at about 120, 122 at the moment.
And I was 152 and bouncing around 102 at the moment.
The normal story is people go through a significant period of weight loss, the significant motivators, the wedding passes or something passes, and the weight kind of comes back on. How difficult is it to keep it off?
We both had a moment throughout the whole course of it, and I think this is important for anyone that wants to lose weight, of what I would call clarity of why you're doing it. Weight loss is probably more about the mental side of it than it is about the practicalities of it. I don't know a fat person anywhere that doesn't know eat a salad, go for a walk. And we know that, and everyone knows that. It's just KFC tastes better. But until you get your head in the right space, you're not going to do it. And we both have done that, and we've both done a lot of soul searching together and individually. And since the show ended, I think we both went up maybe about 4 or 5 kilos over the Christmas and the relaxation of the filming's over. But we're both down again. So because we've made the decision, we're pretty determined never to go back.
And what other changes have happened for you aside from the weight loss?
I think as a relationship, we're stronger than we've ever been. But also, we've got the kids, and the kids are coming into their own, and so we're using the motivations that we've had and the activity that we do to play with our kids in active ways.
And instead of sitting at home on a Sunday, watching movies and eating popcorn and chips and whatever else that sort of is lurking in the cupboards, we go for a bike ride as a family.
Or to the park and have a run around.
Half the battle is getting your focus and dealing with issues in the past before moving on to, something such as big as weight loss. There are a lot of lovely, lovely people out there that have supported us, but in true essence, we're the ones that have to motivate ourselves. No one else can tell us to go for a run, and
which is why getting your head right is so important.
Yeah.
And how much of it is about questioning and changing your identity? I mean, I know, Stu, with your comedy, the fat jokes must play into it quite a bit, and maybe there's less material now.
I do a lot of "I used to be fat" jokes, but it changes your identity in that it forces you to be a little bit more realistic about who you are, I guess. Being overweight is about having a barrier for you. And Moniek said it a bit in the show and has said it in interviews, and I've said it. When you're that big, you're that big, but you never really recognise it. So you put on a bit of a front. And when you start losing weight, you kind of have to drop a lot of the pretense. And move on from there. The song that actually featured, that they showed me writing in the show, was about, being a truer version of yourself because you don't have those barriers anymore.
And what's the significance to you of what you're able to do? I know that you're healthier now and more active, but what does that mean to other parts of your life? Maybe?
A bit more freedom in my life, more satisfaction. Being able to walk up a flight of stairs and not be puffed at the top and get to it and go, yeah, where's another flight of stairs? Well, not really, but, and it's the satisfaction that I can, instill a healthier eating plan for my children and be here to show them sort of the better path to travel down.
Knowing that once I could accomplish something that seemed so mountainous, then other things become a lot more possible. The biggest goals for me that was actually after the show finished was I competed in and finished the Noosa Triathlon. And as much as it was a physical endeavour, it actually really highlighted to me what's achievable when you actually focus on something.
How do the 5 fingers feature into your weight loss and what you're able to accomplish?
Yeah, I don't like the running side of things, but I used them in other ways, like when I did circuit training and RPM classes, and whenever I went shopping, I used them because I like wearing no shoes. I love the feeling of, just being able to walk and not having restrictions, and because I had a wider foot, it was hard for me to buy a pair of shoes that were low enough to fit me, but the Vibrams actually gave me the flexibility and the movement in my own foot not to be constrictive across the, you know, the instep. So I found them a lot more practical day-to-day life, shopping and doing just general workout work and stuff like that. So in that aspect, they worked really well for me. I did use them on the beach when I did the run out to the island. That was like my biggest run. So it was really good because I wasn't sort of trudging through. My foot wasn't on one level of the sand. It was actually moving, and I could actually not web like a duck, but, you know, I could move through the, and I found them really well. I really enjoyed them.
I was conscious of the fact that being a big guy, running can actually be, or it has been shown for some people to be quite difficult and quite injury prone. So I did a lot of research into how to do that and did a bit of running obviously beforehand. And a friend of mine recommended I check this out. And I'm the sort of guy who likes to know the ins and outs of everything. So I actually did a lot of research on barefoot running and things like the pose technique and all that sort of stuff and how it was beneficial. And got some of the Vibrams and the Barefoots and started giving it a go. And the beautiful thing about this for me is because I was never a runner, I didn't have the awkward changeover period going from heel impact to forefoot impact. So although I wasn't running far to start with, which is always the way anyway, I didn't have any major issues. Well, I had no issues in all the time I've run, and I've now been running as an enjoyable weight loss activity for over a year now. I've never had an injury pertaining to the running. I had a twisted ankle because I stupidly stepped on a gutter in the wrong way, but I've never had knee problems. I've never had hip problems. I've never had any sort of thing that's made me stop being able to run, and I attribute that absolutely 100% to the fact that I'm running the way my foot's designed to run, and I'm doing it. You know, I'm sure I'm stepping on rocks and you kind of shy away from that, but you're doing it the way your foot's supposed to do it.
What advice do you have for people who are committed to taking on the kind of challenge that you took on?
Get it right in your head. Figure out, if you're looking at any challenge, actually, if you're looking at changing your circumstances, be they job, be they financial, be they whatever, be they weight loss, why you're at the point, what it was that got you to the point you're at now, if that reason is still applicable, and then what you need to do to change it. So for weight loss, Moniek and I both had to figure out what the triggers were that got us to the weights that we got to. Were those triggers still applicable, or could we let go of them? And now what to do to change it. And, you know, we've still got a little bit of a way to go. Monique's goal is a few kilos off, and mine's a few as well. But if you haven't got it right in your head, you may not. Anything you do is going to reverse.
You've got to do it for yourself. You can't have a doctor say to you, "Oh, you've got to lose weight," or, you know,
you can't do it for your kids.
Yeah, you can't do it for anybody else. It's got to be solely for yours. And some people might question me, but mine was for me solely so I can protect my family, and, you know, to be more happier in myself. But yeah, absolutely, you've got to find out what triggers your motivation, and once you've found it, it's so much easier to achieve your goals.